Sir, hey, sir, yeah, you wanna buy some leads? What? You wanna buy some leads? Well, no, I'm okay, I'm okay. What? Bro, come on. I got synths, I got bass, I got gigs. No, I'm good, I don't want any, I'm okay, okay? Thank you. I'll do 2 for 1. 2 for 1. Come on. Bro, I'm not gonna be buying any leads, man. You give me 2.
So welcome back to another video, guys. This is Myoh here, and I know you may be asking, why is my hair looking like this? And the simple answer is the pandemic. It is what it is. Yeah, it is what it is. So now we got that out of the way, let's move into today's topic, which is layering. Okay, so the topic for today, guys, is lead layering. This has been important for me. I've been producing for around 5 years now, and one of the hardest things for me to learn was definitely lead layering. I didn't realize it at the time, but I always ask myself, why aren't my sounds sounding professional? Why isn't my music sounding at the professional level? And what I realized was that one of the key things that I needed to improve was my layering. Because I just, try to make a drop for any genre, and I choose like simple lead, and then I wouldn't go further than that. I wouldn't like stack leads on top of leads, and that would just sound so simple and not as full as it should. Throughout the last years, I started to practice a bit more, and it took a long time for me to sort of master it. Obviously, I still need to improve it, but I've come a long way with it. And it made a huge difference once I started to understand it, once I started to, stack leads on top of each other, and the sounds became much more fuller. All right, so let's move on to FL Studio so I can explain to you what layering actually is. Let's go. All right, guys, so as you can see, this is the project. I'm gonna show you a little preview of the drop and how it sounds. All right, so first of all, let's listen how the leads sound by themselves. All right, so this is the process I made to achieve this final result. Okay, so the main lead here is gonna be this one. It's a silent one, I guess. It's a sort of Martin Garrix lead, and it sounds like this. I usually start by finding the main one, then I just do some basic EQ, maybe some distortion. Then I move on from there and I see, what is this lead lacking? It is lacking a bit on the high parts, so the second lead I got was this one. It sounds a bit higher and more harsh, which will complete the other one. So let's listen to the first one alone, and then with the second one. You can see the difference with just one lead complementing it, right? Okay, so let's listen to the third lead. Okay, as you can see, this lead is adding a bit of a low end and also those really high frequencies after the 10K hertz. Let's see what I did for processing. I just cut out some of the lows so it wouldn't clash with the sub bass. Then I boosted the low mid frequencies that I wanted to give to the main sound, and to compensate the other leads that are already there, I cut off a bit of the high end and some upper mid frequencies. So let's listen to the 3 first leads together. First, just the first one. Then with the 2 extra ones. and it sounds much better now. Okay, so this is easier to listen on headphones or studio monitors, but I'm not actually sure if you're going to be able to listen to this on laptop speakers or phone speakers. Okay, so let's listen to the fourth one. What I liked in particular with this lead was how attacky it was, and I felt like the other ones were missing that same attack, which is really important in these kind of genres like big room and future house and whatnot. So let's see the difference that this one does. Okay, so you can see how it gets more attacky. I can still add a little piano. I love to add pianos because this one in particular, it sounds a bit more wide, which will complement the leads pretty well. And then I finish it off with a attack lead, which is sort of it's sort of a snap or like a percussion that will add that a bit more punchiness to the sound. So this is how the piano sounds. You can see how it actually sounds pretty wide. For the mixing, I just added some EQ to cut off the highs and the lows. Then I added a stereo shaper to give this wide feeling. Once again, you can listen to this on headphones and notice it. Otherwise, I don't think you will. And this is how it sounds. And then with the stereo shaper, it sounds way more in the back, right? Okay, so let's do the final main lead versus all leads. Once again, this is how the first lead sounds. And this is how it sounds after layering. Okay, so to make it even more evident, let's listen to the drop with just one lead. Versus the whole thing. All right, guys, and that was it. So the main trick here is to try and find the main sound that you're going to use. Usually, producers tended to make it a bit mono because you want that sound to, sound right in the middle, especially in PA speakers at clubs, for example. And then you're going to complement that sound with wider sounds and with frequencies that are actually missing, either being at low end or high end. Then to top it off and glue everything together, I'm going to show you the lead bus, which will basically be adding compression, adding distortion. You're going to EQ everything together and glue everything together. And then at the end, and I learned this quite early because it really made a big difference when I started to do that, was to not add reverb individually to each sound, but on the bus with all sounds together, right? This will make the biggest difference. Obviously, what I did after was to sidechain my reverb, but I think that's a bit more complex for now, so I'll address it in another video. But for this one here, what you do is you pretty much just send all leads to one bus and then you add the reverb to everything together. Otherwise, if you're adding reverb individually to each lead, it's probably going to be a mess and it's going to be way harder to control. Okay, so the processing I did for the leads was pretty simple. This project is quite heavy, so I don't think I'm going to be able to play to you what every plugin does, but I'll show it to you without playing. So first off, I just added a glue compressor just to glue the whole thing together. I added just a lower threshold with 10 dB and then 2.5 dB makeup. Then I added some OTT at 9%. This is also another compressor that will not only glue everything together, but make it a bit more crisp with high frequencies. Then a simple EQ that does nothing. LOL! I don't know why I have that here. Then just a little bit of Soundgodizer. Soundgodizer is a native FL Studio plugin. Pretty much it's a magical plugin because it does everything. But summing it up, I think it's sort of a distortion plugin that is a mixture of a compressor with, adding a lot of distortion. All right, and to finish it up, the free filter is just to do an automation on the buildup, so it's not important. And to finish it up, some kickstart to give it that sidechain, so the sounds duck. Okay, lastly, as you can see on my lead bus, I don't have any reverb here. That's because my way of doing it is to send the lead bus to a different bus, which is here at channel 100. And what I do here was what I told you, the sidechain reverb. All right, I'm not going to get into much detail here, but pretty much sidechaining your reverb is just adding a compressor that will duck the reverb down. In this case, Valhalla Room. It will duck it down when the leads are playing. Okay, I'll probably be addressing this in another video, so subscribe and stay tuned. By the way, guys, if you're interested in learning more about this project, you can have access to it by purchasing my new Future House Sample Pack Volume 1. The link will be in the description. You can get it by a cheap price. And you'll not only have access to this project and the FLP, but also to around 200 samples and 50 presets, if I'm not wrong. And that was it for the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you can learn something out of this. Once again, I can't stress out enough how important layering is. So don't forget to keep experimenting, trying to reach a fuller sound by, stacking different and individual sounds that will complement the frequency spectrum. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, because, it's not hurting anyone. So just do it. And I'll see you in the next video.